Wow, guys, that was such an amazing presentation. I don't know what you can't even call it a presentation because you had the mixing with the drinks, you had all of the history that you threw in as well. I mean, how do you feel? You made it.
I'm tired. And you guys?
I need a drink.
Actually, okay, with a little bit of warm wood, I feel much better now.
All night.
You could go all
Another
night.
tricks, another tricks.
Yeah.
Seriously, that was fantastic, and I think I saw. You look around the room and you saw a lot of people's eyes were kind of raised up. There are a lot of things that are quite challenging that challenge what I knew about vermouths, liqueurs, and also a lot of new research that, of course, Jared and Anastasia, you've been really on for some time. What did you think the reaction was from the mixologists?
Shock.
Shock and awe.
You know, with Jared and Anastasia, you will never know where you're going to end up. You know, they got so many information. You're starting to talk about one thing, and you're going to end up talking a completely different thing.
But you always learn so much. It's wherever you go, you always walk out of there and you know a little bit more. And I think vermouth especially is such a staple ingredient that you use every single day behind a bar. But how often do you stop and really think, you know, about the history, where it came from, and how it developed? So,
Well, considering when I was bartending back in the 70s, you basically looked at the bottle of vermouth and went, "That's nice."
yeah.
You know, and it took a long time for me to realize what was wrong. It was about 15 years ago when you figured it out, and then said, "Wait a minute, there's more than one or two kinds."
Yeah.
And that's when it really started.
Well, and it's a staple ingredient in Italy. You grow up drinking vermouth just by itself. I mean, as an American, you know, there's a big trend to keep as much vermouth out of a martini as possible. People are just like, oh no, martini's just... But then that ruins the drink. But when you grow up around it, you have a different appreciation for the flavor, and you kind of have that palate for it as well.
It's all about Mediterranean flavor, fragrances, and use those one to match the other ingredients in the gin and the vodka as well.
Yes, yes.
And I have to say, Jared and Anastasia did a great job on the last few years changing American concepts about vermouth.
Completely.
Thanks very much for that.
Completely. Thank you for that.
Today, I got to do one of my favorite things as well, where I feel like we're so detached from the ingredients.
Yep.
And when I asked how many people in the audience are growing Artemisia absinthium, 2 hands went up. When I asked how many people have ever handled fresh Artemisia, I think 4 hands went up.
Yeah.
There were, nearly 100 people in this room. So before we started, I got to change that by handing out pieces of fresh Artemisia absinthium from our garden.
It's amazing.
So when we were finished, every single person had touched it, felt it, squeezed it, smelled it.
Yeah.
And there's a very different understanding when it's not just a mention that something is in a bottle, but you're holding it in your hand.
You feel it, it's visceral, isn't it? And also...
You really have, sorry to interrupt, John, you really understand the characteristic of the plant, which is not only the bitter side of it. There's a nice floral note, there's a nice herbal, vegetal. And that's what all about today. Understand different products. They stay under the category of wood, and now we can use them in mixability as well. So it's all about getting inspiration to each other and keep trying and keep mixing.
And playing, and our ancestors, who we have to thank for all these great spirits and all this development, our ancestors did just that. They went out into their gardens or into the, foraging around, and they found something, and they just played and played and played. And now we take a lot of that for granted, don't we?
Yeah. And we're keeping the tradition on. That's our job, just keeping them alive.
Trying to revive that tradition, in fact.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's something that people have to rediscover, because I think we spent about 30 years with people just sort of going, here, use this and use this stuff.
Yeah.
Here, use this stuff, and you never really felt like you were part of it.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice to see now, is people do want to become part of what they're making. So it's picking up.
With this great team, you're never gonna be wrong.
I was gonna say, I'm standing around giants. I'm just gonna get down on a knee now, and it's thanks to you guys that it's all happening. So keep it up.
Keep well, keep mixing well.
We'll try.
Cheers.
Thank you. See you in Moscow next week.
Oh,
See you in
yes.
Moscow.
Let's go.
Next time,
Spasiba.
Moscow.
Keep warm up.
Salute.